Hello guys, welcome to another tutorial. It's your boy Nana Multimedia on this one, and I just want to encourage you guys, if you know this channel has helped you grow, just do us well to, or do me well to just hit the subscribe button, like, share this video, and drop a comment on what you want me see break down or shed light on as far as design is concerned. Thank you very much, and I appreciate. So today I'll be showing you guys how I designed a 25 by 9 feet billboard. All right, so this billboard happens to be one of the biggest billboards in the city of Port Harcourt, and I happen to have designed on this billboard a couple of times. So today I'll be breaking down how I've been able to design that very big size of billboard on my system without it crashing. All right, by the way, this is a 16 gig RAM system, so there are limitations to what and the size of things it can carry, all right, regardless of the processing speed or however it is the specs are. Do you understand? So I would be explaining that in this video, and hopefully you guys get one or two things from that. And I'll also be breaking down this video and the things I did to make this this poster come together the way it is, nice, clean, and sweet, the way I like it. Right, so I would first be deleting some of the layers I know I would not need, so which is this, deleting this layer. All right, deleting this layer. Okay, I don't need this layer, so I'll just be deleting them. So like I said, this designs doesn't reflect the way I actually started out and finished this design. This design took me quite a while. I think it took me about a day to design. All right, but from conceptualization to this point took about, say, 2-3 days. All right, so I just had to get that out of the way. All right, so first off, when you're tasked to do a design like this, the first thing you need to know is definitely with the limitations to your system or the limitations to whatever it is you're working with. All right, you definitely not be designing on the exact size of the banner, so meaning you have to design at a fraction or a percentage of that particular size, so that it's easier for your system to process and it's easier for you to make changes, all right, without your system hanging or lagging or the software just shutting down on you, which will lead to you starting all afresh. So first of all, what do? I first go to my Chrome and I look for a converter. All right, open Google Chrome. So I'll do 25 feet. I love converting to inches. 25 feet, because there's no fit metrics or calibration on Photoshop, so the best you can feature in is inches. All right, because it's quite relatable to feet, all right, for measuring distances. All right, feet, 25 feet to inches. So there I have it. So 25 feet to inches is 300. So my width is 25 feet, that's 300 inches. So I come up here, I open this new document. All right, so drag this here. So I come up here, scroll down to inches. All right, so I do my width here as 300. All right, I go back to my Chrome. So what is 9 feet? If that's 9 feet is 108. So I get here, type in 108. So I leave my resolution. Most times I leave my resolutions at 150 pixels per centimeter, and that's really all I need to do. So basically, it will tell you if you're designing for print, you change your color to your color mode to CMYK. I started out like that, but recently I just do my designs on RGB and let the people convert to what they know how to convert to. All right, so pixel per inches or pixel per centimeter is what I do. All right, so I leave it at sRGB color, then untick my artboard because I'm just making a single design. All right, then name, probably just I don't really name my own, so let me not lie. So I'll just name it as Billboard tutorial. All right, so I click on create. All right, so it's going to take a while to open up. Oh, it didn't take any while. So here I have this. All right, so if you start designing on this, your system is definitely going to lag. All right, so depending on the kind of system you're using. All right, if you're using a system of 32 gig and above, I will still not advise you design on this because it will still lag a little bit. So next thing I do is I come to image. All right, then I come to image size. Okay, so under image size, it brings up a couple of information for me. So if you're looking at this now, you're seeing this image size now. Just this canvas alone is 13.1 gig, and this is the resolution dimension in pixels. That's 114,300 pixels by 41,148 pixels. This is the original size. All right, and if you're designing at this original size, you're doing yourself a very, very big disservice. So what do I do? Basically, I just make sure this calibration here is in percentage. So I drop this percent to like say 30%. Let's say what 30%. So 30% is 1.18 gig. So I can drop it further down, say 20%. All right, so 20% is 538.3 MB, which is good enough to design with. All right, see the dimensions here that automatically changed, brought it down to 22,860 pixels by 8,230 pixels. So this actually is a fraction of what we had before. So 538.3 MB is a fraction of this what do you call it, 13.1 gig, which is 20% of our original size. So this is like 20% of this. So that's what we are designing on, which is actually okay, right? It's actually a good spot to design on. So I just okay it, and what it does is that it will just ratio down this particular canvas size to 20%. So you've seen how long it's taking for it to do that. Let me bring in to show this progress report so that we're also gisting while it's loading. So this is my system currently, and this is a 16 gig RAM system, I think a Core i7. Do you understand? And you're seeing how long it's taking for it to process down to 20%. All right, but in the end it works. Right, in the end it works. So your system might be faster, your system might be better, your system might be slower, but this is actually one of the cheat codes to designing a very, very large format design without your system screaming and crying for help. All right, so now with this I can easily design whatever I need to design without it lagging or disturbing me. So that's exactly what I have here, although here is even larger. If you look down here, you see it is 32,400 pixels by 6,480 pixels, which is actually larger than this particular one, 22,860 by 8,230 pixels. All right, so that's that about how I convert. So let me just exit this, and I will come back to this once I'm done to show you what exactly I now do. All right, when I'm done designing. All right, so don't save. All right, I'm back to this. So this is the design from left to right. All right, I wish I could be able to explain design from left to right, but that's not actually how the design came out or how I did the design. So I just started placing. Funny enough, this first element you're seeing here was actually placed last. I will not lie to you guys, it's actually placed last. All right, so when I was looking for where to place the logo, very crazy stuff. Yeah, so but we start from the beginning or the beninging, however you choose to. So I'll just turn all of this off. All right, so we have an empty canvas, all right, to play with and to work with. All right, so this is an empty canvas, right? A fraction of the 25 by 9 feet we are actually to design on. All right, so there you have this. So then the first thing I have is this particular pattern. All right, let me zoom in so you're actually seeing. So this particular pattern, all right, it's part of the patterns I develop on Illustrator. All right, so I download from Shutterstock, then I come over to Illustrator to take it apart and use it to design. So I have that there, I have that there to fill out the white spaces first. And I think the leveling, the opacity and the fill is actually different. So my opacity is at 77% and the fill is at 34%. All right, that's why it's like this. So putting both of them at 100%, this is what we have. So this is what I have initially. All right, so but I was going to use that as a background and I didn't want it to be this conspicuous, so I had to reduce the opacity and the fill, all right, to where I felt okay and cool with. All right, so we have that. The next thing I have is well and the calm, all right, which I split into two because of the other elements that were going to come into play. And so the name of this font is Go Block. Now this font is Go Block, so in case you need it, just type it online, Go Block. You should be able to see it for free, I guess. All right, so the next thing I have, in case you guys hear my dog, I don't know why it's barking this night. I don't know, something's irritating him. So the next thing I have is this home. So I developed this home on Illustrator. All right, I developed this font on the home, is actually called Blink. Is it Blink Gaston or Blank? Let me be sure of the fonts. Black Signature, that's the name of the font. Right, that's the name of the font, Black Signature. Okay, so I developed it on Illustrator with the home thingy and the love thingy. Do you understand? So it's something I would explain on that design, hopefully. All right, so the next thing I have is this rectangle, all right, that covers up this thing. All right, so the gradient for this rectangle is this. All right, this is the combination I'm using of different hues of red. All right, this is red here and this is also red here. Okay, so I have that settled. I'm trying to be as quick as possible so that this video is not really lengthy. Okay, it's just a breakdown video. So the next thing I have is this tone paper thingy I have up here. All right, so the blend mode opacity is the same thing, 100 and normal. Then I have this long rectangle I just pulled up here. Then I put a bunch of text on it. This is a very, very tiny text talking about the church. All right, then this is a blue background I downloaded off Free Pick. All right, and so the blend mode is, let me unlock it. Blend mode is multiply. All right, fill and opacity is 100%. All right, so let me lock it back. Then the next thing I have is a shape. I don't know what the shape is. Okay, this one is a rectangle that you would actually see later in design to understand. It's actually meant to be like a strip of rectangle that's like the behind of the strip of the rectangle. It would actually make sense once you see it. So you're seeing it now. So this is the first strip, so this is the strip going back, and there's meant to be another one coming across this way. All right, so you have this text behind, loved and valued. All right, so the name of this text, although I don't have it on my system again, is Camar, C-A-M-A-R. I think I downloaded it off iPhones.com, so you could go check it out. All right, so you have another rectangle there. You have this layer. This is a brand I also did on Illustrator for one of the programs in church. So we have our service schedule up here. So it's just a bunch of texts. All right, so this one is a combination of two texts. That's the first text here is the first text. The text here is Comic Kings. Actually, that's this text you have here, this amazing service called Comic Kings. Right, the one up here is still the same Black Signature. All right, so oh shoot, let me undo that. All right, so you have that. Then you have the many other text. Tuesday, this should be intro, then 5 p.m. intro. I think I use the same text. Then the other rectangle. So if you can now understand the reason for this first rectangle that's behind. So this is the first strip, it's crossing across, then this is the second strip. All right, so this gradient here is the same gradient with this particular stuff here. All right, so that's that. We have Thursday, which is going to be down there. We have the address of the church. All right, then shift service, that's another branding for the second service, the Thursday service, sorry. Then you have a couple of ellipse, right? This ellipse here, all right, that forms like little dots or circles. All right, so I just love I added them there to show or to give emphasis on what is next after what. All right, so you have this time here again, so all of them align vertically. Is it vertically or horizontally? But they align, all right, and there's even spacing between all of them. Even spacing here, even spacing, even spacing, even spacing. So it's something you designers really need to work on. Alignment, very, very important in design. It helps make your work look very, very neat and extremely professional. All right, very, very important. So you have this other date here, so I think we're still moving. Then first service, under it you have this 10 a.m. I think there's a mistake somewhere. Hope I've not even sent this though. This should be second service. Let me retype for. Oh, thank God I'm doing this video and actually seeing this. So to show you we are not even perfect. We're not perfect. Oh, second service. Okay, I think that's correct now. All right, so the next thing I have is this rectangle. This I developed this also on Illustrator Success Service. All right, so all of these brandings were just developed to make this stand out. Not that I was told to do it, but it just felt nice and good enough to do something that you can look at and be proud of in the end. So now I have this rectangle. I don't know where this rectangle is. I know it should be somewhere. Okay, I'm not seeing any rectangle anyway. Okay, this rectangle here, sorry, my bad. So it's just the same. I'm using the same gradients with this one, right, for uniformity's sake. So connect, grow, and become a word changer is this here. All right, I think font is intro. Yeah, so here you definitely goes inside of this, and it is centralized both horizontally and vertically. All right, so you have welcome to the love channels. I don't know where this particular text is. God help me. Welcome here, welcome here, welcome here. Okay, so it's still the same text with this. All right, then you have another rectangle. Let me zoom out so that I'm actually seeing all of this well. Okay, so this is the other rectangle here. All right, then I think I have another one by this end. So if you notice, all of them have almost the same what do you call it, hue of red, right? Because it's part of the brand colors, red, blue. Right, so I just want to play with those. Then you notice the same pattern that we used at the back here. I just brought it here to over this. Very nice stuff. Then the pictures of the lead pastors. All right, I did this picture via camera raw to get to this point. All right, I desaturated it a little bit because I was going to generally color grade it to match with all of this. All right, if you need a video on how I color grade, you can go check out my previous videos out. It shows you how I actually color grade my pictures. All right, so after editing on camera, I make sure it's desaturated to a point. Then I can now add a gradient map over it to bring it to the same color tone as the design. So if you look at this, look at the face now, it has the same reddish color tone with this design. So give it, the harmony, give it the same harmony, and everything about the design is just looking like one. So I have this rectangle in front that I'm going to place their names on. All right, so I also have this rectangle here over here to create emphasis over what is going to be here. All right, so I have his name and her name, and WBC and Chema Rufus, names of my pastors. Chema Rufus is actually my cousin. All right, so Very, very nice people. Very nice people doing ministry, pastors in Port Harcourt. So if you're in Port Harcourt, this is also an advert for the church. Go and check them out. Really nice. They're really doing very nice stuff there. So this rectangle with the name here, over here. So I think a bunch of these things come in here. Special. This is sunrise. All right. This is sunrise. This is Billboard prophetic hour. All right. A couple of just little minute stuff. This happens to be the icon for GPS. All right. That shows that is actually a venue. All right. So the next thing you have is all of this, just text arrangements, where they should be. All right. So and other elements that should fill up. All right. So special services. So we have the logo of the church, which is this placed here. All right. In perfect alignment. If you check, it's in perfect alignment with this. All right. Then we have another line. All right, this line which just buttress, after reading all of this on our schedule, it points you to something else. This rectangle also now points you also to look inward to something else. So you must just learn how to use your elements to actually direct the flow of your design or where you want people's eyes and energy to go to. All right, very, very important and necessary. So you have this torn paper that I put here because I wanted to put something here. So I just added a color overlay over the paper. This is actually the original stuff. All right, then I added something because I didn't want to have that ash spoiling the design. Then you have a bunch of things you will experience. Something different here, right? This has been a tagline for the church for a while. So this is Go Block for this font, which is carrying the same gradients with this, and this also is the same, carrying the same gradients with this, but with a different font, which is black signature. So then I added a little vibrance at the top to make the colors pop, and really that's it about this design. All right, so what do I do next? The next thing I do is for me to export this as a picture. So I'll come over here, I would export, so Control Alternate Shift W, because that's what would work. All right, that's what would work. So it opens this dialog box for me, and I'll have to wait for it to load the design up before I'm able to export. So once again, if you've actually found value in this video, I would want you to subscribe and share this video, drop a like and drop a comment. If you have questions, drop the comments, drop your questions in the comment section, and I'll do well to attend to it. If you also need more breakdowns on more videos or more things you want me to break down on, then you also drop a comment, and I will do well to look through and give you those breakdowns as necessary as possible. So you see, it's taking a while for it to actually load up, that's one of the reasons why you have to resize and calm down a particular ratio so that your system is able to accommodate this kind of designs. All right, this is one advantage that phone users would not have or don't have over PC users, the ability to work on large size prints like this without having glitches. Yeah, somebody might come up tomorrow and say that's not true. You can work on large prints and all of that with the phone, but how fluid will you be? How effective will you be? And but I just advise people, please try as much as possible to make sure that whatever it is you're working on, you get a PC and you use a professional system to actually work on most of these particulars. It's really necessary, it's really necessary, because in the end you'll be doing yourself a very, very big disservice when jobs like this come and you're not able to come through for whoever the employer is. You know, you're just missing out on the experience, you're also missing out on the fun, and you're also missing out on the money you stand to gain from working on big projects like this. All right. I did this project actually for free from my church for my uncle. All right. But normally if I would charge for a job like this, right, just a billboard like this, I would be taking, say, somewhere around 100 to 150,000 naira to do this kind of job. That's about $100 or so or more, all right, to execute this kind of job, which is good money in Nigerian currency for just something like this. So now we have this, you know, and my quality is high. All of this stays in check. All right, convert to sRGB, embed color profile correct. So I have it as 10.4 MB. So what I just do is to export. So once I click on export, it opens up a dialog box. So I just save this as Billboard new. All right, then it saves here. All right, it saves here. Okay, so this is actually the first phase. So this is actually the second phase. So design is actually in 3 phases. So that's the scaling down of the canvas. The design itself, that's the first stage. Design itself is the second stage. Design export is the second stage. Then the third phase is now the rescaling, all right, back to an appropriate size for exports and the saving for export. All right, so after this saves, we now head over into that next phase. All right, so the video will be cut now to get to that next phase. Okay guys, it's done exporting, so I'll just exit this. All right, let me save this. All right, so while it's saving, remember our calibrations we used earlier, all right, to open up that artboard. So we are going to revisit it right now. All right, so I would allow for this to actually finish saving, or let me see if I can open a new stuff. So Control N for new. All right, so this is what we have here initially. So let me create it back. So we are back to the actual size of the design. I think this size is actually longer. Size is actually longer than this. So maybe the size is actually longer. Let me actually confirm on range. So I just want to do a quick confirmation real quick from I think should be 45 feet. I think it's 45, not 29 or 40 feet. Not really low. I'm really not sure. Yeah, I'm really not sure. Dimension, size. So this is me going through. Okay, so it is 9 by 45. Yo, 45. That's crazy. 9 by 45 feet, man. Yo, that's mind blowing. So let's get back to this. So we have 9. Then let's do 9 is 108. Then let's do 45. 45 is 540 inches. Yo, that's scary, man. So 540. Whoosh. Let's see how long that will take to open. But it doesn't take long. All right, so this is me being vulnerable with how I work. Oh yeah, now this actually makes more sense. All right, it actually makes more sense. So this is how much we're doing. You're doing 205,740 by 41,148. Crazy, yeah, very, very crazy. So what do I do? All right, like we did before, I will just come to this image. All right, there's no reasoning in doing exactly the same size. All right, there's no need. Even printers will not even accept the size this stuff will bring out to print, because like, hey bro, what are you doing? So let's do 50% of this. So after 50%, we have 5.9 gig as the file size. This is not going to be the size of this thing when it exports, so but just this is the file size. So I click on OK. So it resizes this down to 50%. Takes its time to do it, like it did when we were downsizing. Alright guys, that's finished converting or downscaling to size. So here's what we have here currently. So what I'll just bring in my design that I've saved already in documents. So Billboard new, just bring it, place it here. Alright, so it takes a while to place. Then that's that. Then I'll just make this bigger. Alright, just make this bigger to fill up the space. Okay, enter. Alright, so now it's trying to adjust the size of this picture. You notice how small it was to this 50%. That's half the percentage of the actual size for us to be able to save and send for print. Right, so basically I love sending for print with PDF. Right, that way it's easier for the printer to actually do what he's doing, other than sending it in JPEG or PNG. So if you're sending for print, please try to make sure that you're sending in PDF. It's easier that way and it's better that way. So see how crisp the design is. This is definitely the way it's going to look. So as at the time I'm posting this design, I've not sent the final draft. So if you're in River State, you might actually be seeing this design sometime later this week on the billboards on Ada George Road. Yeah, so that's that. I'll just come to file. All right, on that file I'll click on exports. I want to use export as, or rather just save in PDF. So I'll come to save as, Ctrl+Shift+S. All right, so once I come to save as, it brings up this dialog box for me. All right, so what I'll just do is come to documents, pick the same name, Billboard. So I'll just come here and make Photoshop PDF. All right, Billboard new, Photoshop PDF, click on save. All right, then after save, come to here. So it's not going to be editable by whoever is going to print on it. Then I click on save. So it takes its time down here to actually save and all of that. So guys, this is actually where we call it a wrap on this particular design. So I've been able to show you guys 3 phases of how I design large prints billboard. The first phase is the downscaling of the actual canvas size. Second phase is the design and the exporting. Then the third phase is the rescaling back to size of the canvas and placement of the design and re-exporting of that design. So I think we're all caught up on all of that. So thank you for your time and see you guys in the next one. Bye.